Welcome. My name's Anna, and today we are doing a mobility focused class. So when we talk about mobility, we're looking at moving the joints through active range of motion. So taking the body into a variety of poses and positions and movements that require the joints to move through that active range. We want to challenge the body. So as we move into these positions, I want you to push that range a little bit, looking for sensation, for that stretching sensation, and avoiding pain, obviously, but there will be that little bit of discomfort as we start to communicate to the body and the nervous system that it's okay to go into those ranges. We are going to pretty much do a full body focus here. The main areas that we'll be looking at in the warm-up and the cool-down, we're going to focus on upper body, so shoulder opening, wrists, scapula, and then we're going to do a 10-minute sequence, like a bit of a mobility sequence, where we'll primarily be looking at the hips, so full range of motion through the hips, and also the hamstrings as a result of deep hip flexion as well. So let's get stuck into it. I will be giving modifications, progressions and regressions throughout. Please take those if you need them, but challenge yourself as well. You know where you're at and your abilities. Push yourself, but if you're starting to lose integrity of the movements or the form is going, then you might need to just regress back to a different option. Okay. Let's jump in, starting on all fours, and we're going to take some scapular push-ups. So this is where we'll allow the scapula to come in towards each other, driving the shoulder blades together, and then press the ground away and rounding through the shoulder blades. So moving in and out of this range. What we want to avoid here is the arching and rounding of the spine along with that movement. Let's isolate the movement into the shoulder blades as much as possible. To intensify this one a little bit, you can take the knees back, or you can do this from up in a plank position as well. Making sure you're keeping the weight forward, so the shoulders over the wrists, rather than coming back into this kind of position here. Lovely. A little bit more. Going to do 3 different movements here in our warm-up. Lovely, one more of those. Okay, I'm going to move into some wrist prep. So again, in the all fours position with the weight forward over the wrists, and then we're going to take some knuckle raises, coming all the way up to the first knuckle, thumbs off, and then lowering down. Coming up, lowering all the way down, thumb stays off the entire time. Again, to intensify this one, you can take the knees further back or take the movement up to plank position. Again, keeping that weight forward over the wrists. Almost there. Lovely. Okay, coming back to sit down now. We're going to take the hands behind you, fingertips facing backwards. Feet flat to the floor. You might need to play around with the feet here to get the sensation from this one. So coming forward, bringing the butt towards the feet, and then coming back towards the hands. Okay, so when we're here towards the feet is when you should feel the sensation through the front of the shoulder, perhaps up into the neck, maybe into the back of the shoulder as well. If you're not feeling anything, you walk the feet further away and drive the butt towards the feet till you feel that sensation. To reduce, the feet come closer in. So you can pause in that end range there on each rep, just for a few seconds. And one more. Lovely. Okay, we're going to repeat those 3 movements one more time. So coming back onto all fours and returning to the scap push-ups. Now that you're a little warmer, you might have a go progressing the movement. Lovely, and coming down. Okay, moving into wrist knuckle raises. Coming up to that first knuckle and down. Again, remembering if you want to progress, coming up to plank or taking the knees further back. With this one, trying not to rush through the transition. So as you lower and lift, doing that with control and slowing it down. Okay, coming back over for our shoulder movement here. So hands come behind, and again, reaching the butt forwards towards the feet and coming out. Rocking forwards and back. Pausing for a few seconds in that end range. Really driving the weight forward. Lovely, one more. Starting in a downward facing dog position, you can have a little bend through the knees. We're going to take a spinal wave, tapping the knees down to the floor, long through the upper body, weight back through the legs, then start to wave forward, rounding through the lower back, mid back, through the scapula, keeping the chin tucked, coming all the way forward, and then chin lifts, reversing. Tuck the chin, coming all the way back to our starting position, tap the knees. Right foot steps forward between the hands into a lunge. We're going to tap the back knee, front leg stays parallel. Tap the knee down to the floor, stretch that left heel back towards the back of the room. 1, should feel that sensation through the front of the left hip. 2, and 3, lovely. Moving into a diagonal stretch, stepping in slightly with the left foot, taking the right foot out at diagonal. We're going to be reaching back towards the right leg. So upper body stays long, extension through the spine. We're reaching back for that left heel. If that's not happening, you can take the hand to the back of the knee. 1, 2. To add on to this one, you straighten through the front leg. 3. Stepping in slightly, we're taking a split stance good morning. Hands come to the belly and the lower back, long through the spine, slight arch through the back even, keeping the head gazing forward and closing the gap between the hip and the thigh. For 1, 2. Should feel that sensation through the hamstring of the right leg. 3. You can pause in that end range. From here, we're turning out to the side. Let's go this way if you can see me. Into a comfortable wide-legged position, and we're taking a hinge. 1, 2, 3. You'll step back to the lunge position, coming back to our starting position in downward dog. Tap the knees down, lengthen, and let's move to the other side. Left leg steps through. Into our lunge position. Tap the knee. For 1, drive the heel away. 2. Toe of the left big foot strong into the floor. 3. Moving into our diagonal stretch. Left foot out at an angle. Ooh. And reaching back. 1. So keeping extension through the back. 2. 3. Pausing. Coming up. Stepping in slightly with the back foot. Long through the spine. And we come forward for 1. 2. If you're getting any rounding through the back, you've come down a little bit far. 3. Hold. Coming up. Turning out to the side. Hands to hips. And 1. 2. Again, long through the spine. Send the hips back. 3. Back to the lunge. Hands down. Back to our starting position. Now, we're going to take a little hop forward to a wide-legged squat. Show you from this side. And we're going to drop the right knee towards the floor and back out. Left knee comes in, coming onto the ball of that foot and swiveling in. One more on each side. Tap. And tap. Lovely. Coming all the way back to our start position. And let's go again through that whole sequence. Okay. Tap the knees and move through that spinal wave. We'll move a little bit faster this time. Tap the knees, right foot steps through into the lunge. Tap the left knee, lengthen. 2, 3, into the diagonal. Out with the right foot. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Coming up. Straighten through the legs. For our good mornings. 1, 2, 3. Out for your hinge. 1, 2. Keep the gaze forward. That little anterior tilt through the pelvis. So you're sticking your butt out a little bit. I didn't pause on that last one. Let's go again and pause here. Nice. Back to the lunge. Back to our starting position. Tap the knees. Left foot steps forward. Keeping that left leg parallel, if you can, as much as possible to the floor. Stretch that right leg back. 2, 3. Step it in slightly. Left foot out to that angle. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, to our good mornings. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Really stay in that end range. All the way up to your hinge. Hands to hips. Again, long through the spine. Legs active. 1, 2, and 3. Pause. All the way up. Back to the lunge. Step it back. Tap the knees. And getting ready to hop forward to our wide squat. Tap the right knee in. Stay low through the squat. Really drive that knee back out all the way. 2, 3. Last one. Lovely. Jumping back or stepping back. Tap the knees. Move into our spinal wave. Right foot steps into the lunge. Tap the left knee, drive it back. Into our diagonal. 1, 2. So we're moving back, not down. It's not a lunge. 3. Hold. Coming up into our good morning. And hold. Into the hinge. Hold. Back to the lunge. Step it back, tap the knees. Left side. Tap that knee strong through the legs. Press the heel away. 2, 3. Prepare for the diagonal. Left foot out. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Coming up. Step it in. And 1. Keep the hips square to the front. 2. And 3. Think about moving forward with that one rather than down. Out to the hinge. Same with this one, reaching forward with the chest. 1, 2, hold. Hands down. Tap the knees. Step or hop forward to your wide-legged squat and right knee taps. Bring it back out. Left knee. Right. Pivot on the ball of that foot. Step or hop back to our start position, tap the knees, and come all the way down. Okay, for the last section, we are going to do 3 upper body movements. So the first one is going to be a hang. So if you have some rings or a bar to hang from, perfect. If you don't have this at home, then you're going to do dislocates instead. So grabbing your stick or your strap. So a strap can literally be anything you have lying around at home as well. A scarf, a belt, something like that, just so that you can create some tension in the shoulders. Also, you can use a broom handle. I used to use that for a long time before I actually got a piece of dowel. So either one of those. Dislocates, you'll have your hands gripping the stick or the strap, taking it up overhead, and extending all the way behind you to bring the stick down to touch your bum and coming back. You don't have to come all the way to the front, so just slightly in front of the face and all the way back. So keeping the arms straight throughout the movement. If you're getting any weird bending or anything like this in order to get the stick back, take the hands wider. If that becomes too easy throughout the movement, you bring the hands closer together, okay? So that's that one. Otherwise, we're just hanging from your bar or your ring. I'm going to take the hang. So hang with me if you can. And we're here for 30 seconds, okay? If you're very familiar with hanging, then you can work up to doing a minute. To modify the hang, you would have your feet on the floor or one foot to support. Oh, went a little bit over. Okay, the next one is a wall shoulder stretch or chair. So either go to the wall or grab a chair out in front of you or a box or something, taking a stance a little bit wider than the hips with the feet and dropping the chest down towards the floor. So if you're on the wall, same thing. And we're just pulsing in and out. To add on a little bit of intensity, you can do this from the elbows instead, and same thing with the wall, just coming to the elbows. Okay, let's hold for the last 10 seconds in that end range, really driving the chest down towards the floor. Lovely, and coming out. Okay, we're just going to do one more round of each of those movements. So again, the hang or the dislocates. I'll do the dislocates with you this time. If you're doing the hang again, go for it. Okay, here we are, up overhead and bringing the stick behind. You'll find with these, after a few reps, usually that starts to become easier, so you can just readjust the hands, okay? It's usually a bit of a sticky point. from the side here. Well done. And we're done. Okay, one more of these. It's coming back to your wall or your chair and driving down, little pulses. If you want to progress the movement, get a little bit more difficult, you can come from the elbows. And let's hold. Really press the arms into the wall or into the chair, driving the shoulders down, chest towards the floor, and coming out. Nice work, you're done. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you found some benefit from that mobility flow. The way to get most benefit from these kind of movements is to do them consistently. Like anything in your training, the more that you do, or the more consistency that you have, then the better results that you'll see. Great, see you later.